Hi everyone, welcome back to New Life Tarot. We've got another tarot pick-a-card here. We've actually got a few different decks in here. So on the bottom of this pile we've got the Angel card, we have a Crystal Tarot, a Moonology, then we've got 3 of the Last Unicorn Tarot. What I'm then going to do is use the Gilded Tarot for clarifiers. I have 3 options available as usual. So I'm going to give you a wee little look at them, and while you're looking at them I'm just going to chat about wee things that have been coming through to me and a couple of different astrology things that are going on just now. So first, as usual, numbers that have been coming through. So 444 has been coming through really strong just now, 22, 33 and 333. 66 is still lingering in the background there, it's not going away just yet. And 1111 and 111 are all coming through. Also getting signs that someone is either going to be visiting or moving to the sea. There's something to do with the sea, so if that's significant to you at the moment, take that as your sign that you need to be here right now. A couple of quick astrology things. Yesterday, Mercury went into retrograde, so I think Mercury's the one we're all most familiar with, which is why I'm starting there, because there's always memes on Facebook, oh, Mercury retrograde. And I don't know how many of you actually know what that means, but basically, as we view it, the astrology kind of works from a point of view as the Earth in the centre, which science will tell you is not the case. However, this is how we work astrology. So because of the different speeds of the planets, there are points where it looks like certain planets, and the positions as well. There are points where certain planets look like they're moving backwards across our sky. So at the moment, we actually have Uranus, which that happened at the end of September. It's actually moving into, it's just moved back into Taurus. We'll get to that in a minute. We also have Mercury, which went into retrograde yesterday, and Jupiter is going into retrograde tomorrow. So from our point of view, looking up at the sky, it looks like these planets are moving backwards. That's what we determine as retrograde. So in terms of Mercury retrograde, normally that is to do with communication, electronics, things like that. So there are absolute doomsayers out there who will tell you, oh, don't get in a relationship during Mercury retrograde, don't take your ex back during Mercury retrograde, which again is a thing that exes seem to get in touch a lot during Mercury retrograde. It's only ever happened to me once, and it wasn't so much an ex as an ex-friend, but it seems to be a thing for people. So it is a lot. Mercury, which rules Gemini in astrology, is all about communication. So what I would say is read contracts extra carefully, choose your words very carefully. Think before you speak. As I say, it does seem to be the case that for a lot of people, exes come back during this time, so I would be careful about that. Don't do anything. Mercury, fortunately, is quite a short retrograde, so we'll only get that for 20 days. So it will be going direct again, although there is a shadow period on the 29th. So we don't have to wait too long. So if your ex is blowing up your phone at the minute or trying to get back in touch and you think, is that a good idea? Not just now. Wait and see if they're still around. If they're really, really serious, then they will still be around after the 29th. And at that point, very tentatively, maybe say, let me think about this. From my experience, it's not worth going back to exes anyway. However, each to their own. If you're thinking about it, wait until after the 29th. Jupiter, as I say, Uranus is a kind of outer planet that doesn't really affect us a lot. So it's just doing its thing. It's in Taurus. So if you've got Taurus placements, you might feel things are a little bit kind of wonky at the moment, but it shouldn't affect us too greatly. It's also more of a kind of a whole effect rather than just, individual. So if you have Uranus and Taurus in your birth chart, then everyone for X amount of time will have that. It's not a fast moving planet. Probably everyone in your class at school had Uranus and Taurus if that's the case. So it's not one to worry about too much, but there may be kind of highlights and a little bit of confusion. Taurus is very much, to be fair, about taking it slow and about relaxing and just being a bit chill and self-indulgence and, you know, a bit of stubbornness. But so you're feeling extra stubborn or you're feeling a bit less stubborn, that might be Uranus, but there's no guarantees with that, you know. Mercury is going retrograde in Gemini, so again, because they are kind of one and the same, it is communication, it's things like that. Be careful as well with your electronics. If something's going to go wrong, this is the time it's going to go wrong. So save everything that you want saved. That would be my piece of advice in terms of electronics. If you don't want to lose a file or a document or a picture or an email or something, make sure it's saved where it needs to be saved. Jupiter is more the planet of kind of luck, I suppose, but it's another one that you want to be careful about contracts or, you know, that kind of thing. Big expenses, those kind of things. I mean, sometimes things can't wait. Your washing machine breaks down, you need to buy another washing machine. That's, you know, but maybe get a wee warranty with it or something. Jupiter is in retrograde for a good bit longer. It doesn't come back out until March next year, the 10th of March. So, you know, you'd be waiting around a while to buy a new washing machine if that's what you need to do, if you were waiting for Jupiter to come out of retrograde. It is just a time with the retrogrades to kind of take a step back and look into yourself. So we talk about the Mercury retrograde, it's a time to reflect and renew and, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, there's a cat trying to join us. That noise is, believe it or not, a cat trying to dig its way in. So, yeah, it's just a time to kind of maybe, for some introspection, spend more time with family, just be a bit more chill. It's not the time to kind of go, you know. It is time to kind of just sit back and settle and rest and reflect on life. Good time for a clear out, things like that. Again, just be careful you're not throwing out things that you need. But just kind of take it easy for the next few months. Easier said than done with Christmas coming up, especially with those big electronic purchases. But then again, get your warranties for that kind of stuff, you know. Make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed and all that jazz. And as I say, be careful what you're saying to people. So I'm hoping that while I've yammered on, you've had a good stare at the screen and picture pile. If you're still struggling, take a wee minute, as always, pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. You can pause the video if you like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop pile 2 and 3 out of the way. We're going to pull over those cards, see what we've got, and then we can pull some Gilded Tarot for clarifiers. So I'll just pop these to the side just now. And let's have a wee look and see what we've got for pile 1. Right. Peaceful resolution. I take care of the detail and stay in control. Oh my goodness, there we go. Page of Swords. Swords are also associated with air, so they can't. Sorry, I was just checking that you could see me. I realised that we've got, I don't know if it's always like that at this desk. I've been punted out of the bedroom because there's a lecture going on up there about ECGs on my wife's laptop, so I've been given the downstairs desk. So, yeah, I take care of detail and stay in control. So what have we just talked about? Making sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. A fiery climax approaches. Let's see what... That's quite interesting. Let's see what that's... We'll figure that one out as we go along. What have we got here? Our tarot cards are the Queen of Cups. Sorry, I'm trying not to... Can we see that? Yeah, we can see it, I think. I'm just going to... Just so we can see what's going on. Queen of Cups. The Emperor. And... the Nine of Wands. Let's have a wee look, see. Right, I'm just going to grab the Gilded Tarot out and we'll see if we've got any more messages. It's interesting because I feel like, as it says, a fiery climax approaches, but then we do have peaceful resolution here. So I've got a feeling that it might be that something's about to kind of come to an end. But whilst there may be a bit of an explosion with it, I do feel, again here, you know, you stay in control. So for you, it's about making sure, I think I would say so far, because we've got a wee bit of deception here. You've probably heard me talk about this card before. If you are new here, I do go into the movie a lot with The Last Unicorn Tarot. It was a film that was out once upon a time when I was little. And I do tend to reference the movie because I find that very helpful in describing the cards and the images that are used, and that's just a wonderful deck. You may be able to tell I'm a little bit in love with it. So, in this image here, excuse me, we have a false horn on the unicorn because this woman, people don't believe in unicorns enough to be able to see their horns, essentially. So, she's been at this point, she's been captured by Mommy Fortuna, and she's been put in this cage, which gives us their 9 wands along the back there. It's very clever. But nobody can see, although she's a real unicorn, nobody can see a real horn. So she's had a false horn put on so that the people coming along can see that she is indeed a unicorn. We get the Emperor here. Now, this guy could be one of two things here, because actually he very much is in line normally with this Page of Swords here, of being in control. And, you know, he's a bit of a kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not father figure necessarily, although a little bit, but he's very much, he's the one that, you know, sets the rules, and he can kind of rule with an iron fist a little bit, and this guy is no exception to that. However, he's also very much the one that is in control. He knows his job, he knows, you know, how to direct the people around him to get the best out of them. So it could be that. And we've got the Queen of Cups, which is a nice wee card here. She is quite a gentle, loving energy, so we've got her here. I like her. So, and again, this goes nicely with peaceful resolution. So actually, we could kind of be, I think all these cards are kind of matching up. The tarots are matching with the other cards quite well, which is interesting. This Fiery Climax, oh, cards are just sliding out everywhere now. This Fiery Climax is interesting because I get a feeling that whatever is going on, there may be somebody who is trying to pull the wool over your eyes or thinks they're going to get away with something that they're most definitely not. And from your point of view, it is going to be about, as we say in Scotland, keeping the heat and, you know, just staying calm and patient, and I've got another 3 cards here. Just staying calm and patient, and, you know, making sure that from your side of things, it could be that someone's trying to trip you up, you know, or, as I say, either pull the wool over your eyes or make other people see you in a way other than you actually are. And by being in control and ensuring that, you know, everything's in line, and you have, you know, this is where, and I'm sure you know a person that's like this, and we will not, you'll picture the person or the type of person, at least when I say this, but everyone knows someone who saves the screenshots of their chats with people just in case it goes wrong. Everyone knows someone who's got screenshots, right? Be the person with the screenshots, because this is the kind of situation I think we're talking about. And I think that at some point it's going to be a case of saying, you know, this isn't who I am, that's not. And I'm very much a person who, I very much believe that it's none of my business how other people see me. Like, if someone wants to paint me in a particular light, or, you know, wants to be mad at me for something that they think I did that isn't, I mean, if I'm in the wrong, then I will absolutely apologise for that. But sometimes people just want to see a certain way because it makes them feel better or it makes them look better. And that's totally fine by me. As long as it's not affecting my life, I have no interest in that. However, sometimes people take it too far and they try to make other people see it that way. And that can cause issues. And I think that if that's what's going on here, then you definitely need to be the person with, again, your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Make sure you've got those screenshots, because you might need to either defend yourself or confront them with the evidence. And I get the impression with this that it's not going to go down too well with them. However, provided you are this energy and you're calm and you've got all your ducks in a row, so to speak, and you take care of details and stay in control, we're looking at a peaceful resolution, and we are indeed 6 of Wands here, which is victory. So things are going to go your way. However, in the meantime, I get the impression that you might feel like you're on the outside of things. Don't worry about that. That's what this person wants. Okay? That is what this person wants. And they're going to fly in and be like, you know, I'm this wonderful person and they're this terrible person. And you'll be able to go, actually, no, here's what really happened. And that's going to bring about your peaceful resolution. So if you've got a situation going on where someone is trying to make you look poor or show you in a bad light, just stay in control. It's very, very easy to want to defend yourself. And there's going to be a major transformation here. Death can seem like quite a scary card, but it's actually not. Don't think about death as literal death. Think of it as a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly type of thing. So this is going to bring about big changes. So although you may feel out in the cold just now, and you know, it's not going to feel very nice. Once this transforms, it may be, I mean, if this is a work situation and people are trying to show you in a bad light, actually what may happen is that they end up, you know, being shown in a bad light and you get all the glory. You kind of become the boss's favourite or get that promotion or pay rise or whatever it is that's going with that. Let's just check. Yeah. Messages coming in fast again. Get those screenshots saved, people. Make sure you know where all the email exchanges are and all that jazz. Just ensure that everything's... Yeah, see, there's somebody here that wants to be a bit selfish and wants all the glory for themselves. But, yeah, there's definitely here a situation where someone's selfish, is trying to show you in a bad light, but it is absolutely going to backfire on them, provided you keep all your communication. Don't, as much as it might be really, really tempting to send an email full of expletives to this person, it's not going to look very favourable for you. So send that message to your best pal who's going to keep it safe, and then send the most pleasant, amicable, message you can back to them and copy in the boss so that he can see exactly what's going on. And it's going to give you cause for celebration. Definitely, if this is a work situation, I see that whoever is trying to show you in a bad light or whoever is trying to cause issues for you, it is going to backfire on them. You're going to get that peaceful resolution. Things are going to change. Somewhere in here we've got victory. Look, here we go. And things are going to change. Where's death there? Things are going to turn in your favour. You've got that peaceful resolution. All you have to do is make sure that what you're doing is above board. Keep yourself right. And absolutely, they're not going to be happy about it. It might, come to a bit of a... They might have a temper tantrum because they didn't get their own way or something like that. But I absolutely see you getting the upper hand in this. So whatever this situation is, whether it's family, whether it's work, whatever's going on, I absolutely see you getting the upper hand in this situation and it going well for you and not so well for the other person. So I hope that resonated. If it did, give the video a wee like. Even give me a wee comment if you so wish. That would be great. I love comments. I love to be able to chat to people. So would really appreciate a wee comment if you've got one for me. If you're new, please subscribe. That's how you find out when I've posted, and that lets me know to keep going. I'm very excited because we've had, I think, something like 150 views in total over the 4 videos that I've posted so far. That's exciting stuff for me. I mean, there's probably YouTubers out there who are like, I get that in half an hour, you know. But for me, it's really exciting. I'm really pleased with how this the page is going, the wee channel here. I'm having lots of fun doing it, so please let me know that you're having lots of fun listening, because that will absolutely encourage me to keep going. Okay, I'm now going to move on to pile number 2, so let's have a wee look at your cards and see what we've got. Oh, forgiveness. That's an interesting one. Crystal Tarot says, I see things exactly as they are. Oh, a win-win outcome is forecast. That's interesting. We have the 9 of Cups, we have the Hermit, and we have the 2 of Swords. Okay, that's interesting. So already I'm starting to get the picture that perhaps there's been a situation that, and just looking at this 2 of Swords here, that you maybe haven't seen it for exactly what it is. Sometimes we don't want to see things as they are, and it can be easy to get defensive about situations if we want to see them in a particular light. So with the Hermit here, I feel like there's got to be a wee bit of introspection about a situation. It may be that things just are not working out as they were intended. This could be a relationship situation that's just not maybe going the way it should. And sometimes we don't want to see that, and sometimes, you know, your best pal's like, just dump him. Why'd you put up with that? Just dump him. And you're the 2 of Swords, and you're going, no. You're defending him, you're defending yourself, you're not willing to take the blindfold off. You know, you're not willing to see this as it is. And this is just one example. As I go through this reading, you know, if this is the reading for you, you will know how this applies to your situation. This may not be a relationship, but just as an example. What I'm seeing here is that what you need to do is just take a step back, take some time by yourself and say, do you know, what is it I want? How is this situation serving me? How is it not serving me? What do I need to do? Even write it down. You know, I think sometimes people feel crazy if they're writing, it's like, dear diary, but it doesn't always have to be like that. If that's not your thing, then that's not your thing. You know, but just write it down. I'll tell you something, right? My notes, I've got a Samsung phone, and my Samsung notes is just full. I write everything in there. And in fact, when I lost my last phone, I didn't lose my last phone. Somebody shut it in a lid of a big heavy, it was a horse feed container, and they slammed the lid down, and my phone was in an unfortunate position and got crunched. And I lost everything on that phone, and the stuff I lost in Samsung Notes was heartbreaking. However, I'm back. Like, I've got loads of notes in my new Samsung Notes. So even just if you've got that wee feature on your phone, just every thought, see if I wake up in the middle of the night and I think, oh, I could do this as a reading, or oh, I think that colour would look really nice in the hall, or do you know, when you go away on, you Google things in the middle of the night. What's that, the famous, I'm sure it's a meme, you know, me, I should really go to sleep, my brain, do penguins have knees? Yeah, the rubbish that you Google in the middle of the night, put the answers in there, it'll save you Googling it again. But yeah, just write it down, do a pros and cons list, do you know? And you might see that actually, if whatever this situation is, well, I'm going to go with the analogy of the relationship just now, but you may find that your partner isn't happy either, that actually their pal's going, oh, she's being like this, and you know, you shouldn't put up with that. And maybe the situation is that you need to get rid of your pals or tell them to pack it in. I don't know, but there's a situation here that it's left you defensive and not seeing what's actually going on. So we need to take the time to see things as they are. Traditionally, this card, the Three of Swords, can be a card of heartbreak. So looking at it this way, this is a really nice way to look at it. So actually, rather than thinking about your heart being broken, think about kind of opening your eyes and going, this is the situation. And actually, if that's the situation and you take your time to think about it, then clearly a win-win outcome is forecast, and we've got forgiveness here. So whatever's going on, it doesn't necessarily have to be some explosive breakup or, things going terribly wrong and tears and all this kind of stuff. It's definitely going to, excuse me, it's going to benefit. Look at the Queen of Pentacles here now. Although the Queen of Pentacles is a very rich lady, as you can see, she's also a woman who's very, very down to earth. The Pentacles are associated with earth. So, it could be that you need to find this energy of coming back down to earth and maybe not being so fiery or so airy-fairy if you're only seeing the happiness, or if you're, being really defensive and angry about the situation, then perhaps that's where it's going wrong. Maybe you need to channel this Queen of Pentacles and come back down to earth. Take some time to have some introspection, because actually we've got the Nine of Cups here, which I haven't talked about yet. And the Nine of Cups is about happiness and fulfillment. And this wee guy here, look at him, he's steaming, he's absolutely loving his life. And he's got all these 9 cups behind him and his bottle there, and he's perfectly happy. So, yeah, it is. It's about happiness. You don't necessarily have to be drunk to find happiness, by the way. This guy just happens to be. So, we've also got here the Two of Cups, which is, again, quite a romantic card normally. So, this could again be pointing to the relationship, but it could just mean that whatever this situation is, whoever it is that you're having this friction with, because I get the feeling there's friction with a person. This could just be you two finding common ground again and finding a love for each other. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic love, but I'm definitely finding that. The Hanged Man, so the Hanged Man doesn't see things. He can be there can be a lot of waiting around with the Hanged Man. However, he's seeing things upside down. So again, looking at things from a new perspective could just give you the insight you need. I really, really do feel like you are channeling this Two of Swords energy. And you're maybe being a bit defensive about things that could even be that you're feeling defensive about life, not necessarily because someone else is saying, oh, this isn't working and you need to deal with it, and you're defending someone that doesn't be defending. Maybe you're just feeling defensive, stop criticising everything I do, or that kind of thing. So if you can stop being defensive, take a look at things from another perspective, take some time out to kind of figure out what you want and see things clearly, then there's going to be, a decent outcome in this situation. There's going to be happiness. You're not going to come out of this feeling miserable, and there's going to be forgiveness. So it could be that a struggling relationship where you just need to sit down and talk about things. That could be what's going on. Now we've got the Devil here. Again, I don't like these. The Death card came out in the first pile, and I said, oh, it's not like death. And the Devil's not some evil spirit, but it's about being tied to habits and things that don't serve you. So it can be situations that have become a bit obsessive. It can be things like smoking. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the Devil, is these things that just don't really serve you, that we're maybe a bit too tied to. So it could be that, I don't know, you have this habit of either being defensive yourself or defending people who don't deserve it. Or it could be that there are other things. It could be that you both have bad habits. Again, if this is a relationship of any type, you know, romantic or otherwise, could be that you both have bad habits that, you know, causing friction. You need to be able to eventually sit down and say to each other, right, I'm struggling with this. And listen as well, and hear when the other person says, well, I understand that, but I'm struggling with that. And we've got the strength card. So, you know, you have the strength to do this and to get through this situation. This entire deck, I say the entire deck, about half the deck has just thrown itself on the floor in a temper tantrum. So bear with me a second while we pick those up. They clearly wanted to shuffle themselves. I'm just going to grab those. Oh, these ones are all face up. Let's have a wee look. Right. Oh, okay. Right, I'm going to give these a wee shuffle now. But yeah, you've got the strength to get through this situation, and this could be strength rather than your personal strength, but the strength of this relationship. It may be that the relationship is strong, but it's just strained. These things happen, you know, and it's very much a case of, you know, give and take. So, and we do have, here we go, this is quite a passionate person here, Knight of Wands. So it may be that there's just too much passion on both sides. That doesn't necessarily mean tearing each other's clothes off, by the way. I mean, you know, you may just be passionate people. In a sense of, you know, you both get quite argumentative, or you're both quite hot-headed. But there are things that need to be cut away in order to start again. That doesn't necessarily mean ending anything. It doesn't mean ending the relationship. It just means, you know, getting rid of all these bad habits. But yeah, sit down and think about what you want and what you want to see from this situation. Make sure you see things clearly, and then communicate that. You may need to look at it from their perspective as well, do you know. That's very difficult to do. If you're anything like me, that's very difficult to do sometimes. I get a bit hard-headed and grumpy. But cut away these bad habits. If you can get rid of that, then what we've got here, and I'm going to make this the final card of the reading because I don't think we can go anywhere else. The Ten of Cups. Absolute happiness and fulfillment. So we've gone from the 9 to the 10. So it may be that there's good things here already, but you can make them great. But the overall impression that I get here is that definitely, whatever the situation is, you need to take some time, see it clearly, and then stop being so defensive. Cut out any bad habits you need to, and have a conversation with this person. If you stay down to earth and stay calm about it, what's going to happen is that you'll be able to forgive each other any arguments or aggro or whatever's going on, and you will get this win-win outcome, which is going to just be lovely, let's face it. Sorry, I don't think you could see that when I lifted it there. There we go. So that's quite a nice reading. Sometimes we just need to take a minute to see things from someone else's perspective. And if we can do that, then we absolutely can bring things back, you know? And sometimes that's all we need. So it can be nice. It doesn't necessarily have to be horrible, you know? We can have a happy, it doesn't have to be an argument. We can have a conversation and bring things back to a nice place and be happy. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. If it did, please give the video a like. Leave me a comment too if you can, and if you're new, please subscribe. I'm very, very excited by all 12 of my subscribers, but I would like to see more of you guys out there. I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much for sticking with me if you've managed to until now. I'm going to move on to pile 3. And let's see what you guys have got. Opportunity. Oh my goodness. I focus on what I want and make it happen. The energy is gaining momentum. Wow. If ever 3 cards were meant to be together, how are those 3? Oh my goodness. And then we've got Temperance, we've got the Knight of Cups, and we've got the Five of Wands. So let's take a wee look at this. Right, so clearly what's happening here is that there is something that you would really dearly like. This could be a new job, it could be a new car, it could be you want a boat. What this guy is telling us is that slow and steady wins the race. So making sure that you have everything you need. So if this opportunity is perhaps a new career path, it may be that you need to study, and take your time and go through. You need to know that you know everything in order to do this. And this here, I focus on what I want and make it happen. Okay, so that is definitely a case of, if you know you want to walk from, your sofa to the kitchen, then you can't just think that and be in the kitchen. You have to stand up and you have to take each individual step to get to the kitchen. A lot of that we do without even thinking about it. However, this is just an example of how there are steps in order to get to where we want to go. So yes, you can say this is exactly what I want, and you can make it happen, but there will be steps in between. So that's going to take maybe a bit of balance, a bit of patience, and a bit of going through a course, or, it could be that you want a particular job, but, you've got to apply for a few jobs to get the exact right one for you. We've got the Knight of Cups here, which is quite, it's a youthful energy, but it's one that's full of love and very caring. So we're going to take that from him. We've got the Five of Wands, which means that it may have felt like a bit of an uphill battle to get to even where you are now, which is fine. That's okay, because as this says, the energy is gaining momentum. So you could be, maybe you've already been doing this, you've been studying, you've been on this path for a while, and it has felt like an uphill battle. But it could be that you're getting to the top of the hill now, and we all know what happens when we get back down the other side of the hill. We do it a lot faster than we did going up, especially if you're as fit and healthy as me. So I have a feeling this could, for a lot of people, pertain to a work situation, but we'll see. Strength, that's interesting. That strength's come out twice now. Can you see that there? Yeah, you can. Strength has come out twice. We had strength in the last pile as well. Oh, and this we had in pile 1 too. So yeah, I feel like you've got, so your strength here, you have the strength to do whatever needs to be done for this. Your Eight of Wands is about messages coming in fast here. So if this is a case of you have been studying, or you're looking to study, or it could be that offers are coming in really quickly for you now. And again, this is our energy gaining momentum here. The Hanged Man. Maybe you feel like this is taken. Maybe this has really felt like an uphill battle, and you're not seeing the results yet because you've had to have this patience and take your time with it all. Look at it from a different perspective. Take a look and say, right, where am I now, and where was I a month ago, 5 months ago, a year ago? Because that will give you an idea of how far on this journey you actually are. We've got the Justice card here, which is about fairness. So whatever outcome it is that you are hoping for, it looks like this is going to come through for you. And Justice, again, we've got the Scales here. The Scales are about balance, which we also have in the Temperance card. But look at this, we've got the Sun here, so we've got the sun shining a light on this balance, on this fairness. So things are going to work out, things are looking bright for you. And again, we got this very first card out, Opportunity. How fantastic is that? Right, let's see what else. We'll see what else this is telling us. Pull a few more. Gilded Tarot. Four of Pentacles. Don't hold on to your ideals. I feel like, okay, if you want to be, let me think, a race car driver, right? And I know nothing about race cars, okay, but this is, and you want to drive for Ferrari. You want to be in one of those wee race cars that zooms around the track, and that's what you want to do, and it has to be Ferrari, and it has to be try to let go of that a little bit, because you may find that an opportunity is going to come up and you can know what you want and you can go after that. But you might actually find that rally driving is more your thing if you try it out. So what I'm trying to say is, don't hold too steadfast to a single solitary outcome that is so specific that it's almost impossible. There is nothing wrong with having your ideal, do you know? There is nothing wrong with saying, this is exactly what I want. But don't necessarily hold so fast to that you ignore other opportunities that might get you there. Do you know? Again, we sometimes need to take steps. So rather than jumping between the sofa and the kitchen, know that you've got to put one foot in front of the other, do you know? So it might be that, I don't know, you need to do some other driving jobs and learn how to handle other types of cars before you can get in that Ferrari and zoom round that wee track. Do you know, just remember that there are steps towards it. Don't necessarily hold too tight to a single solitary outcome. And again, what have I already said? Your future's bright. Look at this, the sun card has come out. So we've got the sun twice there, which is beautiful. Do you know? That's lovely. So definitely things are looking brighter. We have this opportunity. You know what you want. And as I say, there we go. The energy is gaining momentum. But don't forget that, again, we have to walk before we can run. Do you know? Let's not just leap off the sofa and run to the kitchen, just in case we trip and fall and we can't get the ice cream or the beer or whatever deliciousness it was we wanted at the fridge. You know, so things are definitely going to look brighter. But again, just don't hold too tight. You can have whatever you want. But I'm definitely hearing, just don't walk before you can run. This wee guy tends to charge off. Let's not do that. Let's take it a bit more slow. That's so funny. So he tends to be, look at him. He's ready to just charge off. Slay dragons. Good, bad, and indifferent. This wee guy, yes, he's also a knight. And yes, he's ready for battle, but he's pentacles, so he's earth, so he's a bit more down to earth. He's a bit more, you know, he'll take his time. His horse knows how to walk. This guy's only knows how to gallop, right? But just find the in-between as well. So slow yourself down just a tiny touch, because the opportunities are coming in and you know what you want and you can get there. And the energy is gaining momentum, so you can go, you can start bull walking, you can work your way up to a gallop, but don't just go full tilt at things. You know, if you take your time and you don't hold fast to one single solitary, you know, almost obsessive ideal, then you absolutely can get to exactly where you want to go. You really, really can. You know, things are going to look better. So take your time. I'm going to pull one more card for you. Oh, and it jumped onto the floor. That was unbelievable. It leapt over my hand and fell on the floor. Yes, right. So this wee guy, I feel like, is a little bit left field. However, I feel like he does get the message across. So the battle's been won. And look at this guy, he got all the swords. I mean, he's left two behind, right? But I don't think he can carry any more swords. So yeah, it might have been, you might have found it to be a bit of an uphill battle. You know, like this one. You might have found that you had to fight quite hard for where you wanted to be, and it has taken time, or it's going to take time. I mean, we don't know if this is a kind of present or a future situation, but it's either taking you time and you've had to do this and you're nearly there and you can nearly gallop off, or this is telling you to take your time but you will get there. But again, don't hold too fat. And look, if you don't, you know, decide you want all the swords, whether you can carry them or not, you get more swords than you had in the first place. This guy started out with maybe one sword, now he's got 5. Do you know? And along the way he can maybe pick up another couple of swords when his arms aren't quite so full. But you can have your fulfillment. You can absolutely have your fulfillment. Just don't hold too steady to the idea of, you know, one specific thing. And you will, here we go, talking of driving, the Chariot, right? You will move forward. You absolutely will move forward. Just slow and steady wins the race, as they say. And slow and steady isn't forever. Before you know it, you'll be flying around the track and there we go. Leaving Ferrari, it's a Chariot. So that's the message I have for you guys. I hope that resonated. Please leave a like and a comment if it did. That lets me know that I'm on the right track with you guys. Again, let me know what you think. I quite like this layout. I think this is one that I've done similar before, but I quite like this one, so I might try and do more like this in the future. If you like the other one where I had 3 separate decks, let me know. But I do like to use a kind of mixture. I enjoy this kind of layout the best. So yes, thank you so much. As I said, like and comment if you enjoyed this, and please, if you haven't already, subscribe. As much as I love my first 12 subscribers, I would like to grow that even just a wee tiny bit. See if we can get up to 15. That would be an exciting number to reach. I quite liked 10, that was an exciting one. Then another 2 jumped on. Let's see if we can get another 3. And we'll take it from there. But I really appreciate everyone watching this. I hope that it resonated, and I will catch you all next time. Take care.